So in today's video, we're going to go over the most popular suburbs right here in Charlotte. So if you're thinking about moving to the Queen City, this video is for you. If this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe and bell notifications so you can be the first to learn about the market conditions right here in sunny Charlotte, North Carolina. If we haven't met before, my name is Dean Hardy. I'm a local realtor, team lead, and host of this channel. And I get calls, text messages, and emails every single day from people like you. And I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving to Charlotte, whether it's 9 days, 90 days, 9 years, well, maybe not 9 years, but you get the point. Go ahead and reach out to me today. I'm going to put my contact information right below in the description. I'd love to connect with you, learn a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish, and help make a nice, smooth move for you and your family.
So before we talk about the suburbs of Charlotte, the locations, I really like to start the conversations with the roads and the infrastructure of the city, because depending on why you're moving to Charlotte, it might be because of an employment opportunity. You want to find a house that's semi-close or at least accessible to work. If you're moving down here to be close to friends, family, whatever that situation is, it's the same thing. So I really like to kind of unpack a little bit of the infrastructure of the road. So just so you can kind of get a grasp on understanding on how the city is laid out. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Highway 277. Excuse me. So that is a road that's right around uptown Charlotte. It's a ring road. It's only about 5 miles around, but it's highly convenient, especially if you're working uptown, just to be able to jump on 277 and get to the other side of Charlotte without going through Charlotte. So it's very popular. Don't let its small size and stature fool you, because it is used heavily. Now, there's two main highways, I guess you could say, around Charlotte, and in no particular order. I'm going to start with 77. It cuts the city pretty much in half from north to south. So it starts out of state up in Virginia, and it goes all the way down through Columbia, South Carolina. But here, for the sake of this context, we're going to start it right around that Mooresville area. It goes through Davidson, Cornelius, Huntersville, and then it's going to hit that Metro Charlotte area. And it runs right through, literally through Charlotte. It cuts through on the west side of uptown, so you get an amazing view of the skyline in Charlotte. You'll get to see the Bank of America Stadium as you're driving through. So any Panthers fans out there or Charlotte FC fans out there, you'll get to see the stadium, Bank of America Stadium, from 77. It goes further south through Fort Mill, one of the popular suburbs in the South Carolina side, through down Rock Hill. And if you keep going on 77, you do hit Columbia, and that's where it stops. So any Gamecock fans out there, you want to go and watch some SEC football, that's the road that you're going to jump on. So that is 77. Now I'm going to go ahead and now draw in 85. Now, again, this is a highway that runs north and south, but it's kind of deceiving when it hits this Charlotte area, because it's more diagonal. It goes across from Gastonia, Kings Mountain, Belmont. It goes all the way through north of uptown, goes up through close to the Harrisburg area, goes through Concord, Kannapolis. Here's China Grove. You're starting to get out. And then a little bit further north, you can see it in the top screen, is Salisbury. That's kind of considered, we service all these areas. That's kind of as far as it goes. Now, on the south side of 85, if you do keep going further south, you're going to hit Atlanta. If you go on the north side, you're going to hit that Winston-Salem area. So they're probably the two main highways. Now, 485 is a beltway that was built highly accessible to pretty much anywhere in town. So depending on where you live, this is a great road. Goes all the way around the Metro Charlotte area. North side, south side, it goes all the way up and through, all the way back around. Hopefully you can see my squiggling lines are not too bad. At this point, I'm going to give an honorable mention to the airport, because I get clients that reach out that even though they live in Charlotte, they travel for work. You know the drill. So the airport is right around on here on the west side of town. It's right off 485, so super convenient for everyone. So they're kind of the main highways that we're going to talk about. Now let's just kind of switch gears and talk about some of the main roads that you'll use in and around the area. This line right here is the Billy Graham Parkway. It goes around and up through 85. It does change names when you're on the east side of town, but there's a ton of suburbs in and around, which we'll unpack there. So that's one of the main roads. Now, if you're living in this Matthews kind of Indian Trail area, you'll probably use Independence Highway, which is 74, which is this road. If you keep following this, it actually goes all the way to the beach. So if you want to call out sick one day from work and go to the beach, don't tell your boss I told you to do that, but that's one of the ways in the Charlotte metro area you can get to the coast. Really nice, easy shot. So that is 74 on here. Now I'm going to also touch on Highway 16. So up here on the northwest side, this is Lake Norman. It is the biggest man-made lake here on the East Coast. It's huge. So if you're looking for real estate that has access to the lake or has lake frontage, Lake Norman is going to be one of the hot spots you're going to focus in at. Highway 16 is in Denver, which is on the west side of the lake. It comes through down, cuts Charlotte diagonal. It's up Charlotte here and it follows through south. You're going to eventually end up, here's Weddington. So you're going to now cross over. You're still in North Carolina here, but you're going to cross over to the Union County side. So that is Highway 16. So as you can see, pretty much the roads in Charlotte, you know that old saying, all roads lead to Rome. Well, if you live in Charlotte, if you're in any of these access points, it's real easy to get to anywhere in Charlotte, even uptown. So Charlotte's infrastructure is very easy to learn, navigate. So once you get accustomed to some of these main roads, you'll pick it up. It's really is a breeze. So now we kind of see some of the roads. Let's kind of talk about some of the suburbs here in Charlotte, because that's why you tuned into this video. Now we're going to focus slightly on we'll start, shall we say, on the south side of town. Now, within this Billy Graham Beltway right here, the Parkway, you're going to see a ton of neighborhoods that are very popular. When we talk South Charlotte, these are the ones that are going to really people think out. So you're going to think about right here, up here, you've got Myers Park, you've got Dilworth, you've got that beautiful Freedom Park area. So when you think of these old, traditional, beautiful Southern homes, some of them are the mid-centuries, tree-lined, mature, tree-lined streets, perfectly manicured yards. This is the neighborhoods. These are the areas that you kind of gravitate towards. So this is really the heart of the South Charlotte area. And as you go a bit further around, you're going to hit more of an urban feel. So the vibe of the city is going to change. So now you're going to be in Midwood Plaza, you're going to be in Noda. This is more urban. You are still going to see that single family homes around there, but now you're going to kind of transition. You're going to start to see a little bit more of those condos, those modern townhouses. So the lifestyle does change from more of a single family neighborhood, suburbs, to more of an urban feel for more of a business professional. Tons of great restaurants and retail in these areas. Now you can be anywhere in here within 10 minutes, 15 minutes max of being uptown. So this is highly desirable as far as location. Now, if we go a little bit further south, you're going to hit up the South Park area. Now, this is well known throughout the Carolinas, primarily because of the mall, but that's not doing it justice. It has a very high-end mall in South Park, lots of really nice, fine dining as well. But again, the homes in this area, it's very affluent. You're going to get some really spectacular homes that you still kind of gravitate towards those when you think of those southern traditional Charlotte homes. These are the areas. A lot of these areas, you don't have a whole ton of new construction because this is a developed area, although they do exist, especially in these areas. What people have done is either come in, bought homes, flipped them, renovated them, or completely leveled them. And then you're going to see multi-million-dollar properties that have been pretty much replaced by some of the old mid-century builds, which is very common in here. So don't be surprised if you see million-dollar homes right next to like a mid-century ranch. That's kind of common in these areas, but that's kind of in the culture of the South Charlotte area. So again, South Park is a fantastic area. Now, if you go a little bit further south, you're getting close right now to the South Carolina border. One of the most popular areas, again, in that South Charlotte corridor is called Ballantyne. Now, Ballantyne is about 25 years old. It's a community within a community. You've got residential, you've got commercial, and you've got retail. In fact, the Ballantyne area is the number 3 hub for employment. So outside of uptown Charlotte, which is number one, of course. Number two is the South Park area. Number three is Ballantyne. So you've got Fortune 500 companies. We are a banking city. We've got a huge influx of banks. Not only some of the headquarters are here, but we've also got smaller satellite office, mortgage centers, processing centers. We've also got different kind of industries like in the area, healthcare is another huge one. So all these are right here. So as you can see, I'm starting to paint a picture that this South Charlotte lifestyle, you can live, work, raise a family there without having to, venture out, so to speak, too far out. So that's the Ballantyne area. Again, really strong school district, very, very popular. Now, if we swing a little bit further on the east, we're going to hit Matthews. Matthews is a developed area. There is new construction going on a little bit further south on the south side of Matthews, but for the most part, Matthews is well developed, has a really nice downtown area of itself, kind of that traditional Main Street kind of feel, Old Town USA. Matthews got popular a while back, primarily because of its location, and they have a really good property tax in the area because you don't pay property taxes to the city of Charlotte, you pay them to the town of Matthews. So your actually property taxes are slightly lower, and Charlotte has a low property tax as is. So this is an added value to it. So Matthews, then you've got Indian Trail, Mint Hill, again, two areas that are very, very popular here. Mint Hill is right here, just on the insides of 485. Indian Trail is on the outsides. Your dollar does go a little bit further out here. You are getting a little bit further out from uptown Charlotte. So hence your dollar does stretch a little bit further. You've got a mix here of new construction, lots of new construction in this area as well. Now, if we go a little bit further down, I see Weddington, but for some reason, I don't see Waxhaw populate on this map, but it's right next to it. Waxhaw and Weddington are two hugely popular areas. Now, you're now in Union County. The advantages of living in Union County, you're actually in a different school district, and according to niche.com, Union County schools have some of the best in North Carolina. So it's, as you can imagine, new construction, large master plan communities have been developed. There's a lot of shopping in the area. These strong school districts really starting to draw families to these areas. So people have started to migrate out to the Union County. Weddington's a little bit older. You do have multi-million-dollar properties out there. It's got that more of a rural feel, so the neighborhoods aren't quite on top of each other. So like some of these newer constructions neighborhoods are. And then if you go a little bit further west from Weddington, again, it's not on the map, or it might be hiding behind some of those blue dots, is you got Marvin, and Marvin is right on the North and South Carolina state line. So these, again, it kind of trickles over Weddington, Marvin, and then you get over here to Waxhaw. So again, some great areas. Now, if we kind of hook up a little bit now, you're going to be in the university area, which is right around there. That experienced tremendous growth in the past 10 or so years. A lot of new construction that was going on there. There is a local college in that area, hence the name university, but it has retail. It also has single family homes, obviously, and like IKEA is out there. So there's a lot of good shopping out in the university. So we're going to have to mention that. And if you go a little bit further, just outside of 485, you're going to hit Harrisburg. Again, this is another suburb that's experienced tremendous growth. A lot of opportunities for new construction out in Harrisburg as well. Now, if we go a little further out here, I'm going to put on Concord. Concord is a little bit further out. This is going to be about a 45-minute drive to uptown. It's a straight shot. You can get on 85 to 77. There's some back roads driving, of course, you can do. But Concord has its own town. It has its own little area, downtown area. It's got the Speedway, so it gets very busy up there on race weekends. There's some theaters out there as well. I think the PNC is up and around there. So Concord has a lot going on for it. Again, it's a little further out, so as you can imagine, you are going to be able to get some good properties, and your dollar's going to stretch a little bit further out there. Now, Kannapolis is just slightly north of Concord. Now that has really piggybacked off the growth of Concord. As Concord has grown out, some of its suburbs have spilled over actually onto the Kannapolis side, so they've taken advantage of that. Huge growth opportunities out there for new construction there as well. Now if you come over here, we're going to hook back around. Now we're going to start heading out west, and we're going to hit that Lake Norman area. Now there's really a couple of different areas that we talk about: Mooresville, Davidson, and Cornelius, and Huntersville. So these are some of the areas that you can get lakefront properties. So if you want that, that's going to be a lot of opportunities in and around there. Now, Mooresville is probably the biggest of these towns up here. So they have their own section, their own downtown area, and a ton of properties on the lake and off the lake. You might not necessarily want to be on the lake. Maybe you just want access to it. There's a lot of public docks that you can go ahead and take advantage of up in Mooresville. Further down, Davidson, not as quite as much opportunity out there for lakefront. Cornelius a little bit more, and then Huntersville. You're getting closer now towards Charlotte, so you're going to be in more of a traditional suburb. You do have lake access there. A lot of good shopping out there as well, a lot of healthcare. So you've got a really good hub in that Huntersville area. But again, if you're really looking to get a little bit further out and have a bit more separation between you and Charlotte, Mooresville might be an opportunity. Now, we're going to jump now over on the west side of Lake Norman. Now, I know I drew in some of the roads earlier, but I'm going to draw in a couple more because it'll start to kind of paint the picture. So here is Denver right over here, but this road right here is Highway 150. Now, this goes all the way across over to Mooresville. So you can see that this on the north axis, it's very accessible. If you're in that Denver area and you're working in Mooresville or vice versa, you can just jump on Highway 150. Now on the south side, coming from Lincolnton, this is 73, goes right the way across on the south side. And this actually goes all the way over to Concord. So the nice thing about in Concord and Huntersville, a lot of employment opportunities, as I said, in both of these. But if you're in Concord, you can jump across to Huntersville or vice versa, very easy. But the reason I wanted to draw these lines in now is you can kind of see throughout Lake Norman, it's kind of boxed in. There's some highways all around it, from Highway 16 to 150 to 73, and then 77 coming up on the north and south side. It's accessible to get in and around the lake. And now these are the main roads around there. These aren't necessarily some of the smaller roads. There's a ton of back roads around that you can take, but this kind of paints a picture of kind of that Lake Norman area. Now, if you move a little bit further south now, you're going to be in this Mount Holly Belmont. Now, these are two areas that have transitioned tremendously over the past few years, really gone under a whole new facelift. They've got a great downtown area. Belmont has Belmont Abbey College there as well, so you've got some college students in there. But as far as kind of the way that this place has grown over the past few years, a lot of people started to gravitate west out of the city, and Belmont and North and Mount Holly are two areas that are really grown. Now, there's some areas around here that do have some river access. Now, no, I did say river. You've got Lake Norman on the north, and on the south side, which we'll talk about here in a second, is Lake Wiley, but they all feed through a couple of different river sources. One of them is the Catawba River, but it comes down. You've got Mountain Island Lake just up here as well, so you do have that lake access. Real good spot. And right around up here, one of the most popular tourist things to do, or maybe not tourist, that's not the right word, most fun activity, outdoor activity thing to do is the Whitewater Rafting Center. And this is right around up here. So it's in a great spot. You do, of course, have some river access up there with kayaking and whitewater rafting, of course. Now, if you go a bit further south now, you're in this area that's really exploded, which is called Steel Creek. Now, this is where some very popular areas are, like the Palisades subdivision, which was featured in the Homerama magazine. If you're not familiar with that, it's kind of like a media company that puts spotlights and showcase certain subdivisions, areas around the country, and Palisades was one of them. So literally several different builders within the Palisades. So depending on your price points, what you're looking for, there's golf course access in there. And also outside of the Steel Creek, I actually just filmed a video there for Parkside Crossing, a great new Pulte community, master plan community. Right here, there's a ton of growth right around the Steel Creek area. But what's nice about Steel Creek, and it doesn't get the love it probably deserves, is it does have some lake access there. So you're going to be on Lake Wiley there, but it does have access there. When you think of North Carolina or Charlotte metro area lakefront properties, you don't necessarily think of Steel Creek, but that's not true. There is a misconception. There's a ton of options out there in this South Charlotte kind of corridor. Now I'm going to go ahead and just draw in the lovely North and South Carolina state line. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before when we talk about this, I always mention that the South Carolina, North Carolina state line is not straight. it is a funky shape that I kind of did my best to kind of trace through there, but you can kind of see where it is. But if you click, here's where Steel Creek is. If you just flip over to the Lake Wiley side, and you're now in South Carolina. So you've got Lake Wiley and you've got Clover. Obviously, Lake Wiley is on the lake, so a lot of lakefront property is there. But Clover is an area that's exploded. It's the #3 school district in the entire state of South Carolina. It's easy access. It's about 40 minutes drive to uptown Charlotte. So if you need to get there for work, it's fairly easy to get to the airport as well, but it's grown out there, a lot of new construction, strong school district. Anytime you put those two together, you're going to get a suburb that's built around families. People are moving out there for those reasons, which is a great spot. And in South Carolina as well, you do have lower taxes. Even though Mecklenburg County is low compared to the rest of the country, it's even lower if you go across the state lines to the Clover area and Lake Wiley. So these are two areas. Right over here, I'm not going to talk too much about this. Excuse me, it's York. That's the capital of the York County area. It is a bit more rural out there. It's a growing area, lots of new construction, lots of opportunities out there, but it is a little bit further away. So it's about 45, maybe even 50 minutes drive to uptown Charlotte. But I'm going to give an honorable mention right here to Fort Mill and TGK. So Fort Mill is no secret anymore. Fort Mill exploded about 15 years ago, I'm going to say, with the low taxes, affordable houses down there. And Fort Mill has the Fort Mill School District, which is the #1 rated school district in the entire state of South Carolina. And TGK shares the same school district as Fort Mill. So TGK and Fort Mill separate, but they do kind of run together. The advantage of TGK that has over Fort Mill, it is smaller. There isn't a whole lot of access to get in and out. You pretty much have to go through Fort Mill. But in TGK, it is on the lake, so Lake Wiley. So if you want, again, lakefront access or access to a lake, you do have it there in TGK, which doesn't offer that in Fort Mill. But Fort Mill's bigger. It's got more employment opportunities, lots more options as far as housing, new constructions. The price points in Fort Mill have gone up. It's not really a secret, like I say, anymore. People know about Fort Mill, but it was one of the fastest growing suburbs around there. Now, if you go along here, this road right here is 160, and this will actually take you right behind where these, what are they, blue circles? Right behind whatever they are is Indian Land. Again, that's an extension of Fort Mill and Ballantyne, but it's in Lancaster County. So you can get newer constructions where Ballantyne is kind of capped out as far as new construction goes. There's a lot now that's going on in Indian Land that's spilled across the border, and you're in a different school district, which is a strong school district as well. Again, so family orientated. And if you live in Indian Land and need to get to work in Ballantyne, it's literally going to be about a 5-minute commute for you. So it's a great spot. Now I'm going to give one mention down here, and this is the fastest, or one of the fastest growing suburbs. It's a little bit further out. It's right here. It's the town of Rock Hill. Rock Hill has been transitioning, probably one of the most transitioning suburbs in the entire Metro Charlotte area, arguably, is going to be Rock Hill. The way that this has developed and changed and grown over the past few years is nothing short of amazing. It's got a tremendous downtown. Lots of businesses have come in there, renovated, lots of good restaurants, retail space. It does have its own little community as far as kind of the job opportunities in the area. It used to be a textile town, but it's kind of changed recently. So you have all these opportunities right here in Rock Hill, and it has the affordable house pricing. So I've done several videos of some tours in and around Rock Hill. I encourage you to check those out if you're thinking about Rock Hill. Also with Rock Hill, it does have that lower taxes as well. So it does have that advantages. Again, so it's on the south side of town. It does take a little bit longer than, let's say, Fort Mill, because Fort Mill actually ends right on the state line. So depending on whereabouts in Fort Mill, you're really close to Charlotte. Rock Hill, you're about another 10 or 15 minutes south. There's about 4 exits off 77, depending on where you are as well. So these are all areas. And I will give an honorable mention on the north side of Rock Hill. The India Hook area, there is a small section that has lake access. So again, you don't typically think of lake access in Rock Hill, but that's a misconception. There is opportunities on the lake here in Rock Hill, even though it's not as much as, let's say, TGK. There is some opportunities out there. So that's kind of giving you a full circle. Now we're going to hit back up over to the Union County. So this kind of talks about some of the most popular areas, some of the most popular subdivisions here in Rock Hill. And like I say, I always like to kind of break this down just to give you an idea so you can see the road, the infrastructure, where you're going to be working. That could determine what side of town you are. So make sure when you're looking at homes, you're looking at the right side of town, you're looking at the right suburbs. It's going to be a good fit for you and your family.
So I hope this video brought some value to you, shone a little light onto some suburbs around the Charlotte area, maybe some that you're familiar with or maybe not so much, just to give you an idea of their location and if these might be a good fit for you and your family. So if you are thinking about making a move to Charlotte or any of the surrounding suburbs we talked about in this video, I would love to be your agent of choice. Go ahead and reach out to me today. Let's schedule a call. My contact information is below, and I'll love to help you and your family make a nice, smooth move right here to Charlotte, North Carolina. Until the next video, I'll see you around town, and God bless.